Back in college, before my wife and I started dating, we were going on this big road trip with a bunch of friends. And we were driving from Steubenville, Ohio, all the way down to Tampa, Florida. And we were caravanning it. There was a few vehicles involved, and there was a bunch of us packed into this Jeep Wrangler, I think. And I didn't know Danielle at the time very well, and I wanted to get to know her better, and we had, what seemed like an infinite amount of time. I remember she was sitting in the passenger seat, and I was sitting behind her, and there were other people next to me. So I remember asking Danielle to tell us her life story. It seemed like a good idea. It took Danielle back for a second. We were all really interested to hear what she was going to say and what her background was and where she came from and what were the experiences in her life that made her who she is, and what were the ups and downs and the basic trajectory of her life that brought her to be packed in a car on a road trip to Florida. And it was such a wonderful experience that I think all of us went around, and just told our stories. We told the story of our life up until that point. And you already know that telling your story can be really powerful. Not only do people understand more where you come from, but they also understand why you are the way you are today, why you think and act the way you think and act. If you're married, you probably already know this very well. Your experience of a family and of a marriage as a child has a huge impact on what your expectations are about marriage today, now that you're in marriage. You bring that to the marriage. And often the two people have very different backgrounds or very different experiences as a kid of a family. They have very different outlooks on what a relationship should look like, right? Like you, based on what you remember growing up, you can't possibly imagine that anyone would put dishes in the sink and not next to the sink. You can't imagine that anyone would put knives in the dishwasher with the knife side facing up after you've repeatedly told them not to do that. These are all kitchen related. And you can't possibly imagine that anyone would get so upset about something you do and no one else before has gotten upset about this thing. And why are you getting upset about this? You can't really be upset about this. You're being just like your father. Anyways, all that to say that when you start to get to know someone and know where they come from, know their background, know their story, their life story, you start to see a little bit clearer why they act certain ways in the relationships that they're in and what they care about and what they've gone through. Stories are so powerful that our entire liturgical year, the way we celebrate as Catholics throughout the year, is filled with stories. Stories of the time Moses and the Israelites were freed from the Egyptians, or stories of the time that Jesus rose from the dead, stories of Abraham and Noah and David, stories of Joseph and Mary and Jesus. And I'm sure you do this as a family. You tell certain stories whenever certain people are together, or you gather for Christmas, or every year at this one event, this story gets told. See, knowing someone's story helps us build relationships with people. It allows someone to be honest about their life. And God draws us closer to Him and closer to each other when we share our stories. Over the next couple meetings, you're gonna have time, each one of you, to share your stories with each other. Each meeting will start with a quick catch-up, a brief prayer, and an opportunity for a few of you to share your life story. If you have couples in your group, you could share as a couple. If you want to share individually, you could share individually. That's up to you. But remember, the point of sharing your story is not necessarily to entertain or make people laugh or be profound. It's just to share honestly about where you've come from, the ups and downs, what's influenced you, what's made you who you are. Because God draws us closer to Him and closer to each other when we share our stories. The people in your group are here because they're looking for something deeper than just a casual relationship or a work relationship. They're looking to grow together as disciples. And so when someone's opening up honestly, it gives an opportunity for them to trust the group, and it gives an opportunity for the group to be trustworthy. When you're not sharing, be sure to listen and ask follow-up questions, or share things that surprised you or that you realized as people are telling their story. So yeah, now I'm gonna stop talking so you guys can. We'll see you in a few meetings.